Well, hello, Mandy here from Mandy Sorts It Out, where I sort out various aspects of my life. Today I'm looking at savings. I moved to the UK and left work in 2022, and following that I was living off rental income, but I was also dipping into savings, and I've challenged myself to live off my savings without dipping into my rental income for a 12-month period starting on the 1st of May 2025. And this is a record of how I'm doing. I'm going to look at the first week in September from the 1st to the 7th. Then I'll look at my month, and I'll look at a mini challenge I have going on each month. And then I'll look at my yearly budget and see how that's been affected by my spending in the week. So for week 1 of September, I have spent £1,211.16, which sounds horrific. That comes from my rent going out for £695, my car insurance going out for £479.49. I had to spend an additional £5 on my phone because I very annoyingly forgot to switch my Wi-Fi on when I got out of the car when I arrived with family, and I spent 3 days working my way through my data without even realising I was doing it until I had a data warning come through, and that's when I switched my Wi-Fi on. So yes, I had to spend another £5, which is very frustrating, but it's happened and we have to live with it. I also did a few shops. I did 4 shops, but I'm only counting 3 as food spending, and I'll explain why. The first shop was a little shop. I covered that on my food haul and cooking video. It was for £16.22. The second shop, which I'm not counting as a food shop, was at Tesco, and that was family here asked me to pop to the shops for them and pick up some chocolate, and I knew that if I went to pick up them chocolate, I would buy myself chocolate, and that's what happened. And I also bought another cake making kit for one of the children here. Because 2 of the 3 items I bought were not for me, I decided that that would be best counted as incidental spending. So I put £5.25 towards incidentals. Then I did another small top-up shop at Lidl, and that was £2.79. Just buying bread. I bought crumpets, and I bought some chocolates, again for the children I pick up from school. And then I did another shop yesterday at Tesco. Again, I bought some more bread. I bought myself a lunch from there, and I bought a few things for when I get back home. That was £7.41. I split my expenditure into expenditure that is on a monthly basis and that which is annual. And of the monthly basis, I treat all of the monthly spending that is towards my housing costs, that is my rent, my broadband, my utilities, all that gets annualised and is treated as annual expenditure. For that week, I also had income of £1,500.99, and that came from 2 vintage sales, one for £1 and one for £1.50. And my rent came in, which I've taken off the tax I'll be due to pay, and that's £1,498.49. So every month I take a close look at my monthlies. I have a mini challenge going on to spend only £221 every month on food, petrol, incidentals, toiletries and cleaning products, and my phone. So I'll put those figures up for you now. As you can see, I've spent £36.67 of those monthly expenditures, and I have £184.33 remaining. I know that I'm going to overspend on petrol this month. I'm going to fill up the car either today or tomorrow because it's practically empty. But as I'm driving between my home in Leicestershire and family who live around Bristol another 3 times in the month, I know that I'll overspend on petrol. But it's a known overspend, and I'm going to be using some of my Bristol monies for next visit because I am going to visit my mother I have a figure in my budget that gives me around £60 a month to visit my mum. So I should use that money for my spend and my food and everything for my next visit down to family. And then the remaining 2 visits, I'm hoping I can keep my monthlies under £221. I managed it last month with 3 visits to family other than my normal Bristol visit. I managed it in August, so I'm really hoping I can manage it in September. And to look at my annual budget and how that's been affected by these weekly spends, I shall put the figures up. My income is now £7,342.21, and my spend so far in this period from the 1st of May 2025 is £6,255.75. That gives me £1,086.46 in my sinking fund. I'm pleased that my car insurance is paid. It's one of my largest bills during the year, so that's a good one to get under my belt and done. I can't think of anything that's coming out in September, so everything's looking fairly on track with that. My budget for the year is £17,789, and I have £11,533.25 of that planned spending still to come up and be spent for the year to 30th of April 2026. I think it'll be quite interesting at the end of October, because that will be 6 months since I started on this challenge, and it will give me a much clearer picture, I think, of how I'm doing. Because this is a fairly quick budget review, I thought I would show you the app I use to track my spending and how it works, because I think it's something that would be quite useful for people, and it is a free app. I haven't had to pay anything to use it so far. So I will show you that next.
Hi, I thought I'd show you my money manager, and the first thing you come to is the transactions page, which shows you all the spending on every day, and you can go to various months and look back. And then you've got a calendar, and that will show you again what spending has been done on what days. There's a statistics page which breaks down your spending for you. I think that isn't quite correct. I don't think I spent 39.6% of my income on my car. I think it's been a little bit shifted because of my car insurance, but maybe I'll be surprised at the end of the year when it'd be really useful to look back at this and see what a full year's spending looks like. Apologies for the drilling next door. And then my wallet, I split it into 3 wallets. I have one for my income, and I have 2 for my expenses, one for my monthly expenses and one for my annual expenses. If you add the 2 up, it will add up to the amount I've spent this year, and my income matches my income there. And then there's different budgets, as you can see, and they match with my food budget. I started my food budget with £108, I've spent £26.42, and I've got £81.58. These little budgets enable me to keep my figures very, very straight, as long as I remember to put everything into this Money Manager app. I've got all my budgets there. My phone budget is spent, as you can see, but I will have a £5 spend at the end of the month, and this one will go into overspend. My petrol will go into overspend. I think I can I look at last month's? No. Those budgets automatically renew at the start of every month. I've chosen them to be monthly. The yearly ones don't. They continue on. I don't know what they'll do at the end of the year. We'll have to see. I don't know if this is set up to only work for a calendar year, or if it will work for any year from when I started it. It's a calendar year. You can change the dates if you pay for the paid version. I'm not entirely sure how much that is. I don't think it's a lot. Let's have a look. £10.99. Now it says that removes ads. I hardly ever see the ads. There's very rarely any ads. So it's never been a problem for me that there are ads. Also, it says unlimited recurring. Well, I don't use recurring transactions. I like to post everything because it gives me a good grasp of what's going on. So that's my app. But these budgets are really useful. My clothes budgets, you can see, budget of £100, spent £19.58, got £80.42 remaining, and that's exactly the same as here. So this is how I keep track, and it has a list of the transactions that I can review, and it's all done by automatically. When I do a spend, it asks me to choose a category, and those budgets are set to different categories, so that will automatically update the budget. I don't have to do anything there. I just put the transaction through. So I find this app really, really useful. I would recommend it. It does help me. I do some manual adding up of these figures, but it helps me double check them on here. If they're both right, then I'm reasonably sure that I've included everything.
I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.